What's going on? It's Illusive here, and today we're going to be finally putting in my double din radio. Let's get right into it.
I need whatever the hell could make me happy, and I don't think you have a clue what could that be. They tell me.
Oh my god, we're bumping X. So the radio I went with is a double din. It's got wireless Android Auto and CarPlay. So I want to try that. I never had a radio that had that before, so I want to try that. But the first step is going to be obviously removing the factory one. I have all the parts set up to transfer it obviously from double din, or from the factory to double din. You need an adapter, harness, and a bunch of few things. But for now, we're going to start by taking off obviously the old radio. So I was using this. It's a fucking shitty ass FM converter. It works. It worked in the 20-hour drive home from Florida, but honestly the sound quality is terrible. Anybody who's ever owned an FM converter can probably put their word into that. But first thing we're going to be doing is going to be removing the cigarette lighter here. As you guys saw in the last video, I did install the Type R center console. So if you guys did not see that video, make sure you guys check it out. I did figure out the issue with the fitment here. I got a new one on there. So that fitment issue is fixed, as well as I got the screws in. I got the two screws in the back in. It wasn't pushed down far enough. The cigarette lighter port was causing that to not sit down far enough, so that's figured out. And then the issue with this, where there's a gap in between the cup holder and the cigarette lighter piece here, that you cannot fix because they don't. The left-hand drive cigarette lighter part here does not fit a right-hand drive dash. So a few of you have mentioned that the last video, so thanks for mentioning that before I bought it. It was not gonna fit on here, so this is just how it's gonna be, the tiny gap. Some of you who have a Type R center account will know about it, but it's really not a big deal. I mean, you could literally put a piece of black plastic underneath it and you could probably hardly tell it's there. But yeah, it doesn't bother me at all yet, so until it bothers me, I'll probably do something about it, but for now, that's how it's gonna sit. So now we're gonna remove the cigarette lighter piece here. So all that is you obviously just pull up on this, and then it comes out. So I got the panel off. All you gotta do is make sure you unplug the cigarette lighter part right there, and then just make sure you just put it to the side for now. Next thing we're gonna be doing is it's gonna be hard for you guys to see. There are two bolts that hold in this metal bracket that hold in the stock radio. So I'm gonna remove those two screws. I can see them right now, but you guys probably won't be able to. They're right above that wire harness. So I'm gonna remove those two screws, and then the whole entire radio should push this way. So I'm gonna loosen those two screws up. So those two bolts came out. They have a screwdriver part, or you can just take it out with the 8mm. I took it out with 8mm because I didn't have room to get in there with a screwdriver. So I took them out, and if you have the factory one, or the stock one I should say, still in, you have to push this off first, this panel, without breaking anything, hopefully. So sometimes the clips stick, and you can see the scratch here was probably from that. So try and get this off and not break it would be awesome. Let me put my camera down to do it. Okay, got it off. Just took some ugga-duggas. So when you get this far, next thing you're going to want to do is obviously unplug the hazard switch. So I can't do it one-handed probably. Oh, I did, never mind. So then this is what this looks like here. This is the stock radio. I'm not sure if it's supposed to. It's got to come off that way because the clips are clipped into the dash. So that's how you get this part off. Try to leave the circuit board down, I guess that would be smart. And the only thing now you got to do is just go under here. There's a little lip you can put your finger onto, and then you just lift up the radio and then slide it forward. It should be on a metal bracket. Let me do this here, two hands, so I don't break nothing. You gotta pull it out straight the same way it came in, otherwise it won't come out, obviously. So you grab it like a fucking man and not scratch your interior up. And then I'm gonna put it just like this for now. As you guys can see, the stock radio is only one connector and an antenna. So we're gonna have to unplug this connector here, and I'm gonna put the camera down for that because I'm gonna drop it. But yeah, this is this one connector and then the antenna. So I'm gonna unplug both of those quick. All right, so I got the connector off. As you can see, is what it looks like here. So once we look at the double DIN, I'll show you the big difference. The big difference is obviously the connectors in the back. Stock radio is kind of all internal, it seems, while the double DIN, a lot of the connectors are on the outside. So I will show you guys the double DIN now and all the connectors that go with it. Okay, so this is the radio I went with, the DMH W2700NEX. It's a pretty pricey unit from Pioneer, but like I said, it does have the wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, so that's also a super nice feature. I already showed you guys the box kind of when I was going over the red RSX build and stuff, but yeah, first thing we're going to be doing now, I'm going to put this to the side for a minute. First thing we're going to be doing is I got this as well, the Type R hazard button, you guys saw in the last video as well. So we're going to be putting this on to the double DIN panel, because right now this is the stock RSX one, this is the Type R one, not a big difference, but you know, it is what it is sometimes. You gotta do what you gotta do to be the coolest kid in school. So we're gonna remove these two screws here and then just throw these two back on the double DIN. And then obviously make sure you have it the right way so you don't look like a dumbass and have it this way. Make sure you got it the right way. And these two screws should just slide right in. It's the exact same hazard button. The connector is all the same. So it's in, it's snug. Does what it's gotta do. I'm not gonna over tighten these because it's just plastic, it's just gonna strip. So that's it for this. This guy will be put to the side now as well. And now the next part obviously is gonna be putting the radio, all the connectors on the radio. So what I'm gonna do first is show you guys what you're gonna have to do to this specific radio. Every radio is a little different, but for this one, it has a lot of connectors because you got a lot of stuff going on with CarPlay. So I already connected everything, as you guys can see. And I'll show you guys what it is. Make sure you guys read your owner's manual for your radio to know what goes where. And then the only thing left in the box is going to be the USB cable if you wanted to connect to it USB, but I don't because USB is gay. Who wants cords in their interior? Alright, so everything going on here. I got the clear protector on the front so it's not going to scratch. Everything is nicely labeled too, like some of this stuff you wouldn't know what the hell it's for, but good thing it's all labeled. So this is obviously the main power, and this is going to be miscellaneous stuff. So here is going to be for the audio, and then this says on here, Sirius XM tuner only, so this is like some special feature with the radio, and this is for the rear view camera, but I don't have a rear view camera, I'm not getting one. Other thing that's unique on this radio is going to be, I don't know what this is. This is something for the antenna, I believe. And then in order to connect to the car, I will have to heat shrink all the connectors onto this and then make sure this connector goes actually in the car. So I'm gonna go check that right now to make sure this connector actually goes in the car and it fits, because that'd be stupid if I put it in the car and it don't fit. Okay, so, and it does go on. So there you go, as you can see, that is the connector that would normally be inside the radio on the stock one. If I can even unplug this, because they're fucking obnoxious sometimes. Trying to get it out was a pain because if you got it up against this here, and if it's metal, so it's gonna scratch. So try to do that. So this process seems pretty simple to me. All we're gonna have to do is color match everything that's on here, and a good thing it's all labeled as well, so this should be super simple. And I checked already, all the colors match. A few of these are not on here, like this pink one, the car speed signal input is not on here, but I'm guessing that's for only certain cars, and I don't know if my car even has this connector in it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat shrink all of these connectors on here, so we're gonna have to get one of those fancy little wire strippers, strip off a little piece of plastic. So if you guys have never seen something like this before, all you gotta do is take a pliers like this. It's got like its own matching system, so you gotta match up your thickness to this, and then all you're gonna do is just go like that, and then it pulls that, whatever you want to call this, the plastic insulator off, and then you can obviously heat shrink it on. So I'm gonna do that to all these. Some of these I'm not gonna be using, as some of these are only car specific. Some of the newer cars obviously a lot more wires for a lot more sensors and things. My car doesn't have a lot of the sensors because it's an older car, so everything on this should be everything that I have. So all the ones that I'm not going to be using, I'm not going to obviously clip, because then it would be just a loose wire, so I'm not going to do that. So everything on here I'm going to clip is going to be on this harness here. So we're going to find out what we all need and what don't need. It's going to be the harder part too. But thankfully all the colors match up, so it's going to be pretty simple. So I lied about the heat shrink. These are actually just pushing. So all you gotta do is push down on with like a needle nose or whatever kind of pliers, and then it will obviously stick in there. So don't try and heat like I did. I'm an idiot. They're not heat shrink, but they look like they were. So we're gonna do the next one now. I did blue first. Now we'll do red. Yeah, so I guess these are not heat shrink. I don't know. It looks like they were, but they are not. So learn something new every day, I guess. Okay, so I got everything connected how it's supposed to be. Obviously, you're not really supposed to use these. You can use like, they make like an automated tool for that where it pushes enough pressure. But I've just kind of put everything I got into it, pushing it down. That way I got them all in there. So just make sure you guys do like a pull check on them. So kind of just pull them all, make sure they're not going to come out. I did them all already, so I know they're all going to be good in there. But make sure you guys do a pull check, that way that you know they're all going to come out. I did have a few of them I did not use. So the one on the harness I didn't use was this orange one. I couldn't find an orange one anywhere in this, so I guess we're not having an orange one. And other than that, these two aren't it. And this green one here is for a parking brake. It says parking brake on the sign here. I don't think it's for like a parking brake that I got. I think it's for an electric one. So I'm also going to kit that to this side. I don't think I'm going to need that because I don't have a sensor on it. So right now I'm going to go in the car and actually go and check and see if it powers on. So hopefully it powers on, and we're going to go in the car now. So it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess with all this stuff in here, but this should all power on. So I'm going to put the connector in. Try. There we go. Click it in. Nothing else has to be like necessarily on, I don't believe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect it. Everything's connected. The antenna is not needed, I don't think, currently, so we're gonna keep that unplugged. And now I'm just gonna turn on the car. I'm not gonna have it in my hands because who knows what I did to it. So we're gonna turn on the car here. Or not, because I don't have the clutch in. Or the steering wheel's locked, I mean. Okay, it did turn on. That's good news. I'm gonna have the wrap all over it yet, just so I don't scratch it and be pissed at myself. Read all safety instructions. Yeah, we're safe. We're fine. All right, so everything looks like it's on. I'm not gonna test anything else right now because I don't have the camera view or anything else. But I do have all this. It looks like it all works. Right now, I'm gonna figure out the antenna situation, because what it looks like now is I have an adapter for an antenna. I have this adapter. Let me check here. Okay, so that all works. It powers on. I'm gonna turn off the car now. That way I don't end up having any issues. Right now I have an antenna that looks like this. I don't know why I need this for. This came with it. Maybe this is only for certain cars. Jesus Christ, why is it so hard to get out? I scratched my wheel. Nice, that's amazing. That's why I hate doing interior stuff. And then this is the antenna that it came with, but I don't think I do need it because it's got the blue fucking fuck. So I'm gonna figure this out quick. I'm gonna look up and see the difference between the antennas, because obviously you can see the antennas run all the way through here. No idea where it goes. But I'm gonna look into this more and then figure it out from there, because obviously this blue antenna does connect into the wire harness. So I'm gonna figure that out, if I need that in the wire harness or not, or if I can just use the antenna that comes on the car. I don't know, so we're gonna find out. Alright, so it has been about an hour. I've been doing some research and stuff. I plugged the speaker in. I plugged the radio in. I got everything working. I got all Android Auto stuff working. I'm not going to show you guys that because my location's on there. But I got all the Android Auto stuff working, all the Bluetooth working, and all the audio was not working. So I had an issue with the audio. I'll show you guys what the issue was. So on this specific radio, you're supposed to have I can try and find it. It's a white and blue wire right here. That's supposed to go to the power amp on the instruction sheet. But it did not tell you where to go if you don't have a power amp. So the RSX doesn't have a power amp. So I had to wire it into the blue connector onto the harness, and now my speakers work. So I don't know what the hell the issue was, why it's not labeled like that, but now everything works, thankfully. All the speakers work. I just tested them all out. I ended up taking off the GPS off the back of the radio because I don't think I need it with Android Auto on. So I took it off and it shows my location accurately, so I don't know. Maybe I'll test it a few, and if I need it, I'll put it on, but the GPS doesn't need to be on currently as it knows where I am. Other than that, we're going to put the double DIN thing back on, and then we'll be good to go. So thankfully that was resolved by a few YouTube searches. Other than that, the system is pretty good. I like it. So far when I was listening to it, it sounds very good. Like, as you guys didn't know, if you did or did not know, the Type S has a factory sub and the bass does not. So that I have a bass model with a double DIN, and it sounds a lot better than the Type S, I feel like, just so far listening to it. So great job on the factory sub. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna get everything back on exactly how we took it off. So thankfully everything works. Android Auto works. I'm obviously gonna test it later on, but it connects really fast and everything, so that's good. So let's get this thing hooked back in and let's get right into it. So we're gonna line it up. We're gonna take this off. Fuck it. Here's a final review for you guys. Oh, how nice. That's garbage. So we're gonna be putting this on just like so. It's just an Amazon kit. I'll link everything I got in the description, hopefully, if I can. But okay, that's that. And the screws that go for this are, I don't remember, but we're gonna figure it out. Alright, so everything's all in, all the panels are back on, and looks good so far. Everything works, all the audio works. As you can see, oh my god, we're bumping X, and it connects to, oh shit. We'll end it there, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys for next Red RSX shit. See you next one. Adios.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got out of